Hello.
David, this is Lafler. Precision Garage Doors. Thank you for your patience. Our previous call lasted longer than expected, so I
No
apologize for
worries,
that.
no worries. Thank you so much for calling through.
Great, great. And then right as I was wrapping up, I did receive your message, so thank you for that. But for the most part, what we want to go ahead and do, since we did set this time apart, is to tell you a little bit about the company itself, Precision Garage Doors, but at the same time, about the role and get to know you a little bit better. Um,
Hmm.
we did see the resume for Indeed and see some good qualities and just want to just talk about that. With
Yeah.
that being said, David, we'll go ahead and just kind of start off by getting to know you a little bit better. Tell me a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been in America now for 17 years. Excuse me, and I came over from Scotland in the UK, where I worked for a home improvement remodeling company, and there was the largest home improvement company in all of Europe at the time. So I got my entrance into multiple markets there, from London to Ireland to Scotland, where I managed sales teams and grew sales teams and opened up new locations. And they actually purchased a company within the UK that had businesses in America, and I was awarded to come out and kind of spearhead the opening of that and bring new product lines to America. So I was able to introduce windows, doors, and financial products as well to the business that really was able to navigate through 2008, 2009. Then moved out to the West Coast, helping franchise businesses grow and, just overseeing those franchise businesses from San Francisco down to Los Angeles. And then I opened up my own business while still consulting for other companies and doing that. And the last 10 years has been a lot of working on my own company, and, driving the business and creating the business. And then like the rest of the world, a few years ago, everything changed, and my mum passed away. I went out to Scotland for quite a while, came back here, and decided that running the company myself was something that I wanted to end. So I've closed the business down, and I'm looking to get back into a leadership with ambitious group of people. So that's like a Reader's Digest for you there.
No, well, again, thank you for sharing that. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry to hear, mom passed away.
Yeah.
Had to, go through
Well,
that.
and then that was 3.5 years ago. So I went out to Scotland and really had to handle that.
And then when did well in regards to kind of how you said expanded out um in Scotland into London, and then was offered the opportunity, just kind of based
Yeah,
on
I was awarded the only person. I was the first initial person that came out to work with the CEOs, the VPs, the sales managers out here, and then eventually I think two other people came out 3 or 4 years later. But I was awarded the only person in the whole company to come out and introduce new product lines to the company, make sure the CEO was dialing in with the British CEO, and I was really just like a buffer, but still on a leadership role.
wow, that if you don't mind me asking, how was that experience, from transition
You
to
know
a new
what?
country?
It was really crazy. I was only 26 years old at the time, and I walked into a big business where there was 300 employees, and it was very difficult. But it was all about working with people, finding the secret sauce that everybody has to get the best out of them without getting political. But yeah, it was a real good experience. I enjoyed it. I look back at it as kind of the heydays of when I first arrived. But now I've been here 17 years, and nothing really changes in regards to business and people and growth, and it all just
Yeah.
takes being able to work with people and find the key to get the best out of people.
Like you said, just kind of still have that core fundamental.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was
That was
saying. I look
amazing.
back in those days as probably, like the days I'm trying to get back to, you look back at that and say, okay, that's fundamentally where I want to be.
Okay. And then, like you said, started out on the East Coast, and then eventually, as franchise group came out to Southern California, and been here ever since. Would you say?
Yeah, I've been here ever since.
So know the territory fairly well. And it's great, from just the experience that we did see on the resume, since we are in-home service industry, garage doors.
Yeah.
So we understand, as we look for candidates that, do really well with customer service, that there is going to, run the day-to-day operations from KPIs, metrics. Company has, certain standards, but at the same time, able to tie that in, but work well with the staff.
Yeah,
that's something else that's important. And then, like you mentioned, the transition of, since you've had your business for about 10 years, and then, like you said, just after COVID hit and things kind of changed, would you say just kind of looking to get into that more of the stability, the longevity of the company?
It's the stability. It used to be, in business, you would never think about the external forces. You'd never think about, things that wouldn't be business. And then now it's the opposite. You think external forces before business, and it's so expensive, and legalities. I feel like, my expertise is best side by side with a group of people that's already there, and I can bring my talent to the forefront. I kind of see myself as a Gordon Ramsay. I don't know if you know who he is, but he gets into businesses and looks at them and identifies the strengths first, the weaknesses, and then pulls people together. That's kind of what I enjoy doing, and I've not been doing it for some time, so I'll be quite excited to do that again.
Okay, that's good. Like you said, kind of see it as a new venture, going back to doing something.
Exactly.
That's good. And then again, just from that experience, for example, we saw the renewal by Anderson.
I was gonna bring that up there. That was really, it was just interesting. We're talking about the KPIs, your online reputation. I was brought in to sell the company. They were selling it off to corporate, and they were hemorrhaging money. They were losing money. Customer morale was down. Everything was going wrong with the business, and within 4 months, I had that business as a no receivables business. It was the only renewal by Anderson location in all of the US that had no receivables. I worked with Medallia, which was really online reputation, and I spearheaded our online reputation with the owner at the time, who David Moore, and we really got the reviews from, I think it was 2.8 up to 4.8 within 4 or 5 months, and we sold the business off to corporate.
Okay, and that's when it sold. And like I said, just kind of as vice president, assisted in running the day-to-day operations for that was the location.
Yes.
Good. With that being said, that's kind of what we looking for. Someone, of course, that has able to do, from whether it's inventory, fleet management, work with staff. We understand might not come with the from the garage door industry background, but something similar, and that's kind of what we do. Home improvement from your business is something that's relatable. With that being said, what is it that you look for in companies as you're kind of going through your search?
Yeah, I've been doing this for so long. I like the in-home services. I like the challenge of maybe a team's got to a point in time in their lifespan where they need something else to motivate them. I really enjoy going into a business and identifying the strengths and just working on those, and that overtaking the weaknesses. But what really gets me is just growth, and it doesn't need to be growth in money, but obviously that's helpful for the overall business. But I like to grow every department, and every vertical in the business, like you said, whether that's fleet management, whether that's making sure installations are done quicker, understanding the abilities of the guys and the bandwidth, and really just maximizing as much as you can on a daily level, to squeeze as much as you can out of everybody on a good way.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, kind of establish that you can say that work culture, teamwork environment, everyone's striving to be better.
Nobody's going to want to work for someone they don't like. So I'm not saying that all bosses are liked or whatnot, but if you can get a team of people, firing off on all cylinders, everybody's happy, everybody's making more, and everybody's efficient. And sometimes it just takes a special person to come in and let people know what their abilities are.
And that's key. We have a saying: it's everyone's bought in, everyone's into what the company's trying to accomplish, and it makes a difference in the workplace.
Yeah, correct.
With that being said, the location itself is out in Monterey Park. Well, there's actually a couple different locations, but majority of the work for the position is at that location. There are a couple different satellite offices.
Monterey Park, like 15 minutes. I think that's 15, 20 minutes away from me, so that's actually ideal.
Okay, great, because LA traffic depends on the freeway, depends on the time. It could be a parking lot.
Covina can be a different world,
Yeah. So that's what we kind of we always try to, for the most part, get more local. So the drive, nobody really wants to drive an hour and a half to and from work.
Exactly. Someone will accept the job and say yes, but then 4 months it becomes an issue,
Yeah, and that's kind of why we see that. So that's good on that part. One of the things we also want to ask is timeline. We know end of the year, holidays are coming up. We're trying to find someone sooner rather than later. If we find the right candidate before the holidays, that's the plan. But the interview process takes about a week to 2 weeks at the most. We try to not rush it, of course, but sometimes we have to expedite it a little bit. What would you say your timeline is?
I'm ready to go. Funnily enough, I went to Anderson at this time of year. I've got the business closed down and things I'm working right now with a kitchen company, but it's really just selling while I'm looking for a job. So I'm ready to go.
So can make the transition fairly soon, quick. Okay, great. Another thing that we also kind of look for is if I were to ask, what would you say your leadership style is?
Yeah, I would love to say my leadership style is something it makes everybody inclusive. I make everybody want to be part of the team. But ultimately, I'm a results-driven leader who wants to hear everybody's voice. I want to make sure that everybody feels it's an open door culture. But at the end of the day, I'm very results orientated, and people know that when you've got a results orientated leader, there's many things that can happen along the way, but results is something that's got to happen at the end.
No, at the end of the day, it's for the business, make sure everything is running.
Yeah, exactly. And we can always work on side projects. We can work on individual, growth patterns, but ultimately, the day-to-day business has to be taken care of at the most elite level. And I really enjoy working with people, and I working with different people from all sectors. But I think ultimately, people all need motivated in different ways. But if they all reading from the same page, it's a lot easier.
That's great. Okay. One of the other things we ask is when you saw the job description, and you saw the posting on Indeed, what would you say was kind of what striked or gained your interest?
I think it was the general manager position itself, and I'm quite familiar with overhead door and the garage door services, and I live in the Hollywood Hills, and I'm always looking at you guys out here, and I always think to myself, it seems like an industry that's thriving, but an industry that needs some expertise. And I think the home improvement remodeling sector, such as Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Sunrooms, that sort of expertise might not have hit the garage door yet. And I think I would be quite good at bringing that to the forefront.
Kind of showed that interest in regards to kind of helping it grow in that part.
Yeah, I think it was a massive. I think it's two different industries beating from the same drum, and now they're kind of merging together. Where you guys are looking at the in-home services, the leads, and all that good stuff.
And then one of the things that we do that takes a lot of pride in for Precision is very customer service oriented. We take a lot of pride. We gain a lot of 5-star reviews. One of the things that if you were to go to the website, the first thing you'll notice is the thousands of reviews.
I see 888 positive reviews on Google. I was quite impressed, to say the least.
Yes. The technicians, even the garage door installers, our customer service reps there. It's part of the training that they go in there. They have to, provide a service, but an experience, as we like to say. From the moment somebody calls for just to know what we're about, what services we provide. Maybe they're looking for parts, anything. to the moment we deliver or complete a certain job. Give them that experience and take care of them. We get a lot of repeat customers, a lot of positive referral. So it's helped us out, and that's something that we want to continue. So that's why we're very customer service oriented. One of the final things that we'll go ahead and ask David is, when it comes to on the financial side, if you saw the job description, we have a certain, we like to say certain margin, certain range. There's a base salary with a performance-based bonus. So it is quite a range. With that being said, do you recall kind of looking at it? Would you feel comfortable with that?
It was, if I remember right, it was what, 150 to 200. What was it again?
It was, the salary is going to be around 100,000 with the performance-based bonus can actually range from, you'd say about 20 to 40,000.
Okay.
That's based on customer satisfaction, performance-based, sales margins. So you're looking at about, we say, give or take about 120 to about 140 per year.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit lower than what I would be expecting, but if you think it's doable with the bonuses and everything like that, it could be a consideration.
Okay, just want to make sure that aligns as well. With that being said, you have to ask all candidates, since there is a service vehicle also with the position, valid driver's license, and can pass a background check.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. With that being said, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'll go ahead and tell you about Precision Garage Doors, about the role itself, kind of what's being asked for the position. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay.
I will do, Walter. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So Precision Garage Doors, nationwide company. This in particular location of the franchise is owned by the owner. His name is Chuck White. He actually comes from a tech industry background, but been in the business over 10 years. Has a good-sized territory, I'd say, stretching all the way from as far east as Rancho Cucamonga to as far west as Santa Barbara. So the territory itself has been really well. Again, like I mentioned, we're very customer service focused. The company has its core values of integrity, honesty, and commitment to delivering superior service. And it's growing. Like we're talking about the market the way it is, what we've been able to accomplish and what we want to continue. So that's something that I know, working directly with the owner, with Chuck, who, for the most part, want to say open-minded, someone that's willing to bring in new ideas, also from what they've learned throughout their career. And just want someone that still has that drive to continue the growth. Yeah. Employing certified technicians, so we provide prompt, reliable, and efficient services in the residential and commercial sector. With that being said, the role itself. So a general manager is going to be someone that's going to be responsible for overseeing all aspects of the garage door business operations, managing the staff, achieving financial goals, and then ensuring the highest level of customer satisfaction. The staff itself, work closely with technicians, the installers, the office staff, but also with the vendors, and of course with clients, the customers, and all together to ensure smooth and efficient operation. Like I mentioned, someone that's highly detailed, high organizational skills, have the drive, use or capable to use certain technology. We use Service Titan. It's a CRM that's helped out. I'm not sure if you used similar software in previous.
Yeah.
And it's just like anything we always say, nothing's really hard. It's just new. Once you kind of get used to it and applying and things like that, it's very user friendly. They all say they're user friendly, but this one's fairly simple. It's used by a lot of what we like to say home service industries. HVAC companies use it, and plumbing companies. So with that being said, someone with experience in fleet management, someone that's able to kind of inventory, since there is going to be a warehouse manager that'll work directly under the GM, also a service technician manager, and then an office admin. So able to kind of conduct these weekly meetings to ensure, staff development. One of the things you mentioned earlier in regards to kind of identifying strengths with staff and, and team within the company. and help them grow. That's kind of what we want. Someone that, of course, knows how to run the business, the KPIs, the metrics, but works well with the staff. So that's key. If you can help someone grow and develop, company's gonna grow.
Yeah, I agree. I think for California, it's such a toxic place, a lot of places, you know, and it really, you can tell the performance of the places that aren't like that or aren't driven toxic, and they have a manager that's looking out for the people, you know, and their people look out for them in turn. It's very simple and strange that a lot of people don't adapt that, you know.
And I mean, at the end of the day, you spend probably more time at work than you do on the personal time. So if you can have a good environment, good work culture, it makes a big difference.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we look for, not just the excellent leadership on, you know, from the business sector, but at the same time on that, having those conversations, you know, getting to know the staff, and that's kind of what we feel. And then with that being said, I'll go ahead and tell you about compensation. Like we went over, the salary does come with a bonus performance incentive. And again, that can be discussed a little bit more in detail as we kind of move forward through the interview process, but we kind of put that range. Benefits, vision, dental health, retirement. Another thing that's also provided would be cell phone, tablet. So when it comes to the schedule, for the most part, we like to say in those courses at GM, you just need to be accessible at all times. There is going to be, you know, you could say a Monday through Friday schedule, say about a 10-hour shift, but on the weekends, for the most part, if we are doing our work on Saturdays, whether it's an installation, homeowners are there during the weekday, so we installing on Saturdays, and a technician might need to call out for certain assistance. So that's kind of the reason we say. So just being accessible at all times. Of course, we understand, you know, having that work-life balance, but one of the things that we went over with the owner was saying, implementing ways on how sometimes when you give certain staff, I guess, proper training and certain ways to delegate things, you know, all these things can be avoided, but still able to be there to show support and guidance is what we ask.
Yeah, I think being connected to the business, having your mind on it, and always being on deck is something that, you know, is key crucial. I've been part of organizations that don't really do anything or care, and you can kind of see that happen in the result and the customer care and all that. So I'm always tuned into the business, you know.
That's good. Able to understand that. And then, like I mentioned, would be doing most of the job at that Monterey Park location. The two other locations, one in San Dimas and then one in Moore Park. Those were just more for more warehouses.
I was gonna say.
There's no staff at the locations, but every once in a while, just to kind of be over inventory, would need to drive out there with the warehouse manager just to kind of go over a couple things. Another thing that's been implemented is going on ride-alongs, and this would be with the technicians. We see it's positive for two reasons. One, you get to know the staff, you get to know the technicians, but at the same time, kind of see what their day-to-day is. Not really for micromanaging, but more of just kind of seeing how they go about their day and identifying, you know, things about them. But we feel that that's key.
I'm a big believer on ride-alongs. Even when I was VP of one of the businesses, I would go out with the technicians, I'd go out with the salespeople, and you can win the hearts and minds over by being an authoritarian, but it never works out. I think if people know that you're one of them and you're working with them side by side and you're taking an in-depth knowledge and understanding of what they do, they're going to have much more respect for you and be able to talk to you over the tough times as well, you know?
Yeah, that's key. You just mentioned that because sometimes when, you know, as a GM, you need to have, you know, those, let's say, difficult conversation. But, you know, once you establish that trust with them, you kind of go get to know them. You can identify, you know, the strengths, the weaknesses, areas of improvement, so you know how to you know, have those conversations. So that's key. A lot of them, how we like to say, this role, you know, you have to have someone that's used to dealing with field service issues, you know, being as part of the industry, but at the same time know how to talk to a blue collar tech, is the expression.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I think they tend to sniff out people that aren't their own, and I was born into this industry in one way or another, whether it was alarms, windows, doors, sunrooms. It all beats from the same drum, and the people that have to get up at 4 a.m. and get into the warehouse, and they see someone walks in their suit and close the door. It's really not the kind of character I want to be. I want to be hands-on and be able to have a cup of coffee with them in the morning and talk to them about what's important to them, and then get them set up for the day.
Yeah, no, that's key. But with that being said, David, that's to put on in a nutshell what the position's about. Give a bit history of the company and what we're trying to accomplish with the role.
Mm-hmm.
One of the final things, as we kind of get to know you a little bit better, we go through the interview process. We do see good qualities on the resume, based on the conversation that we've had today, from your experience, a little bit of your background. We feel that we can see yourself, being in this type of position. With that being said, would you be open to moving forward in the next part of the interview process?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. With that being said, I'm going to send out to your email, which would be kind of the second part of this interview.
Okay.
We see it's more of like a one-way. I know we just kind of had about 25, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The email that we set up this call is dgray721@gmail.com. Is that the best email?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So this part of the interview process is called a Spark Hire application. Long story short, it's going to consist of asking you 8 questions. Questions are going to range from, what excites you about the position?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say your short-term goals, your long-term goals, previous roles that could help you obtain the position as a GM,
mm-hmm.
Things like that, interests, hobbies outside of work. The difference is you're going to go ahead and record your responses. So we started using this. I'm not sure if you used these before. It was something new for me as well. When I started, I had to do this. So I always say, don't do, what's it saying? Don't offer something you wouldn't do yourself, in a sense.
Yeah.
But it took me about 15, 20 minutes. If you're going to record yourself with the responses via a computer camera or a cell phone, make sure the phone, if you are going to use it, make sure it's stationary, not handheld. That way they can move around. But with that being said, David, I'm actually going to send this out to you right now.
Okay, beautiful.
The link does expire in about 48 hours. Would you say you'd be able to finish this by Wednesday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll try and get it done today. If not, I'll get it done first thing in the morning.
Great. No rush. With that being said, once this interview part is completed, we'll go ahead and get the confirmation. And then I will follow back up with you to tell you what the next steps, which would be to send out an application, but at the same time schedule, which would be a face-to-face interview, which could be done virtually as well.
Okay.
That would be the next step after this Spark Hire, which I just sent. Again, if you have any questions, even with the questions, don't hesitate to reach out via text, via phone, or even email. I will follow back up with you or offer assistance if needed. With that being said, David, any questions you might have for me?
Walter, I think you've covered it all very well, and look forward to getting the next steps done.
Great. Thank you so much for allowing us this time to interview you, David. Once that's completed, I will follow back up with you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Walter. Thank you. You too. Bye. Bye.